Hey guys, welcome back to Naturopathic Medicine for Life. Today we're going to be talking about one of the more controversial elements of naturopathic medicine, and that is homeopathy. But what is homeopathy? Just so we're all on the same page. Well, homeopathy is a form of holistic medicine that uses small doses of substances that best match the illness profile you're expressing in order to treat you. These substances could be from plants, mineral, and even animal tissue, both diseased and undiseased as well. Just by saying that, I know I already chased many of you off watching this video, and it's for that reason why homeopathy gets such a bad rap, especially from idiotic quote unquote comedians like John Oliver and Cenk Uyghur, who thrive off of sensationalist propaganda. But I'd ask you to stay until the end of the video so that you can really get a better understanding about what this is all about. People often rail against homeopathy because they don't understand how a substance that has been diluted over and over again can have any possible effects whatsoever. I'll be honest, I was like that not too long ago. In my family, allopathic medicine was a mainstay. We're brought up that more of medicine is usually better. But thing with pharmaceuticals is that if you take more than what is instructed by your doctor, it can cause you serious harm. And even when you take the right amount of medicine that your doctor prescribed, that could even lead to adverse effects too, even causing death. So wrapping my head around the practice of homeopathy was always going to be an uphill battle for me. I would question it and be skeptical of it at every turn, and even in class, I would always be the one to ask the most questions. But like it is with anything, you don't know what you're getting unless you experience it yourself. And that's what happened to me. One day, I had this massive lump on my left eye, and after browsing through the internet, I found it was a condition called sty. For days, I would try some home remedies, but there was still so much pain there. And at one point, I couldn't even close my eyes because it was hurting so much. So I rushed into the local drug mart one day and picked up the closest thing I could visibly see with my blurry vision, and it said sty relief. I quickly followed the directions on the box, putting 2 to 3 drops every 15 minutes. Within a couple of hours, my pain in my eye had magically subsided. I looked at the box again with both my eyes working now, and I realized it was a homeopathic medicine. That was strange, because the loon bins in the media, they told me that homeopathy was all just a placebo. Well, if it was a placebo, how come it worked on me when I didn't have any clue that was a homeopathic drug I was using? That's when I started to do more research on homeopathy and started to pay more attention in class. Now I started to gain a deeper understanding and appreciation of homeopathic remedies. Although, your brain needs to come to grips with two things. One, that the human body is more than just a sack of meat. There's something unexplainable within us that separates us from common animals. I talked about this in previous episodes and how even though you can't visibly see it, it's there guiding our emotions, our behaviors, and our beliefs. I also explained how that this relates to quantum physics and how if these vibrational waves become mistuned or fall out of alignment, disorders and dysfunctions start to take place, and you won't be the same until these vibrational waves are back to normal. Homeopathy also recognizes this element, which it calls the Wesson, and employs the science of nanoparticles too. You see a lot more research being done into nanoparticles these days because they form the basis of nanotechnology. The belief is that they act as a bridge between bulk, solid materials, and their atomic structure. What that means is that let's say you have a couple piles of sand, except one pile is a bit different than the rest. Maybe it's too lumpy or too soft. Nanoparticles help to restructure the molecular structure of that lumpy sand to make it more like the others. That's why so many allopathic doctors are starting to dive deeper into the field of nanoparticles, except that homeopathy had the jump on them for about 200 years. The second point that I want to suggest here is that sometimes a disease can be eliminated by treating it with the same kind of disease. I know that sounds a bit counterintuitive and a little bit off the rocker, but isn't that what vaccines are all about? Granted, they inject you with a dormant virus, but it's still the same virus going inside of you to prevent you from getting it in the future. In a similar fashion, homeopathic remedies are chosen based on how similar the profile is to your set of symptoms. For an example, let's say you broke out into some rashes of some sort. The best homeopathic remedy would have to be chosen a substance that is known to cause rashes as well, like poison ivy. It would then be ground up with some lactose powder, diluted, a practitioner starts to energize it, and then you would take it as a treatment to cure your rashes. And surprisingly, this works. Don't just take my word for it, listen to the words of the patients who have tried homeopathic remedies before and seen so much improvement.
I'm Tracy Joseph. I'm married to Brian. We live on a conventional dairy farm in the southwest. So I'd used homeopathy with the children over the years and the dogs. So I thought the How course would be a good way of learning more about treating the cows and preventing a breakdown in mastitis and feet problems and overall health for the animals. And we tried various different things and we didn't have any success, but one remedy that I used, you could immediately see the difference. You know, from the calves being depressed and laying down and not wanting to eat to running in and out the pen was quite amazing. You know, it's quite amazing. It's quite amazing to see.
During a summer, just some sort of eczema kind of things on my palms. Itchy, dry, scaly eruptions on my palms. She was phenomenal. As soon as I saw her, it was not about my eruptions in my palm anymore. The way she spoke to me was like a friend would speak to you. Everything that's going on in your life. Where are you? What are you? How is your stress level? What are you going through in your life right now? How is your digestion? Immediately I came away, forgotten about my palms. It was about everything about me, about my mind, about my body, about my feelings, my emotions, it was everything about me.
And if that's not enough, let's use my previous example with the sty eye as another example of this. The key ingredient in that homeopathic remedy is Conium maculata, otherwise known as poison hemlock. Now, the reason why conium was chosen was because the plant is mainly used to treat glandular swelling and paralysis. And what is a sty infection? It is a swelling of the eye, right? You see, like meets like in this case, and this is what we call the law of similars. Why is it like this in homeopathic medicine? Well, when you get sick or ill, like I mentioned previously, your vis starts to act irregular, creating this disease state in your body. What the homeopathic remedy does is that it creates this artificial disease state where it mimics what you're experiencing, but this time it feels stronger. That's why it's not uncommon for you to feel worse after you take a homeopathic medicine and then get better after a week. It's what we call an aggravation. Now, because the artificial disease state is stronger than the original one, it fights it off, and the process starts to realign your vis back to normal. And voila, you're back to feeling like the healthy you again. Is homeopathic medicine complicated? Only if you let it be. It's very scientific. As a practitioner, we'll work with you to accurately diagnose your symptoms, and they won't give you whatever's on the shelf just to see your problems go away. I know the subject of energizing the substance goes over the head of some people, including myself, which is when you take this diluted substance and you start to succuss it. I'll talk about that in a later video because that's a giant topic to cover that I won't have a lot of time for today. Heck, going back to my original point, even world-renowned virologist Dr. Luc Montagnier, and the creator of the HIV vaccine, said that there's some clear-cut benefits to homeopathic medicine and dilutions, and it's hard to explain that away. That being said, I wouldn't advise homeopathic medicine to everyone. If you're going on vacation to a country prone to break out with malaria, take your shots before you take a homeopathic remedy. These are cures for your ailments, not miracles or wishful thinking. They can't regrow limbs or anything like that. Also, if your vis is extremely low, like deathbed low, don't bother with homeopathic medicine. It won't do you much good. Rather, just go straight to the emergency room instead. There are a ton of benefits to homeopathic remedies that I hopefully opened your mind to, or at the very least encourage you to do more research on. I know these are hard concepts to grasp, but if you stick with me long enough, I'll definitely expand more on it. Let me know what you guys think about homeopathy in the comments. What remedies have you tried, or are you willing to give it a chance this time? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and click that notification bell. I really do appreciate you guys stopping by. And like always, be safe, be well, and be healthy.